Hey troops, Roxy here and welcome to a brand new game on Roxee Plays Games channel. We are going to be playing SimRail, a railway simulator, and this game is absolutely fantastic. It came out in January, it's been out for obviously a couple of months, and I just wanted to leave it for a little while, just for some of the bugs to get ironed out and a few other things to get sorted out, and I think it's pretty much there. It is still in early access, so obviously things can change, things will most likely change, and there's still possibly going to be some bugs within the game. But what I like about this is something that a lot of railway sim people have been waiting for a long time, and that's to be able to play with other people in real life, because it's multiplayer. So you do have a single player element, which is this train driver here, which is what we're going to be doing today. But you do also have a multiplayer element where you can drive trains with other real people on the same map as you. They do have various different servers, so obviously not everyone's on the same server, so you can play on a server that's going to be suitable for where you live. But you also have a dispatcher mode as well, so you can actually sit at a station, similar to like what's up here, and control all the points and stuff, and the lights or the semaphores within that area. So the plan today is I'm actually going to be doing the tutorial. Now you may be thinking, what's the point of doing the tutorial if it's already there? The reason why is because there's a couple of things that I didn't quite understand when I did the tutorial, and it took me a little while and a little bit of research to find out. But also there's something within the game, which I'll talk about once we come to it, that isn't explained within the tutorial, and I didn't even know you could do it until, well, I stumbled across it basically. So without further ado, let's get in here, hit train driver. We're going to do this first one here where the tutorials are. Click next. And we're going to be doing the tutorial on this train here. There are two tutorials, so this is the passenger train, this is the cargo train, and then we've got another passenger train, a bullet train. This doesn't have a tutorial, so I will be doing a tutorial on this train. I have driven it a little bit, so I've kind of got the basics of it, and then you've just got some missions here on the other two trains that you can do. We're going to be doing this one here today. There is a instructor that will go through most of this, and I'll just add in a few little bits here and there on bits that I didn't know, or he doesn't talk through. Right, let's click play, and while that's going on, don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And on that point, I just wanted to thank Phoenix. Phoenix, thank you very much for becoming my latest subscriber. It is really appreciated. Thank you.
Today you will run passenger train 4665 on the section Dąbrowa Górnicza-Ząbkowice, Będzin. You will use the 34WE electric multiple unit to operate it.
Here's our train.
First we have to start by preparing the train. Walk towards the train and leave the cover panel next to the entrance doors.
Right, so first things first, I was like, where on earth is this? And I'm clicking, and I'm like, don't know where it is. It's this box
Great.
here.
Now switch on the battery and then close the cover.
So we need to enable battery and then close the cover back down.
It's time to enter the cabin. Use the 1 key or press on the door to enter the passenger section.
Right, so you can click on this on the door if you're close enough, and then enter through the door, or click the 1 button, which is what we're going to do.
Now, turn on the radio telephone. It will allow you to communicate with the dispatcher during the entire journey.
And again, I was like, what am I pressing here? This looks like the radio. What am I pressing? Very faintly, you can just see there's a yellow line around it, which turns out that it happens with everything else that you need to do. That's what we need to do. It's not very clear. It'd be nice if this was flashing, or it had like a little arrow pointing to it, just so that it is obvious for people like me who aren't quite, I'm no train buff, I'm not a train expert by any means, so.
Activate the cabin by turning the switch clockwise to the first position.
Once I found that out, I seen this and I was like, ah, right, okay, it's got yellow highlighted around it, so it's a bit more obvious. There are hotkeys for most of these, not everything, but most of them, so I'll explain, or I'll tell you what the hotkeys are for the ones that I've found. For this one, it's C.
Use the button or a spacebar on a keyboard to deactivate the CA/SHP security system. These
Right,
systems will regularly check your alertness while driving.
he actually
Our
tells you
vehicle is
there.
powered by electricity from overhead contact line system, so it's necessary to lift the pantograph.
Yeah, so he actually told you then, you can hit the space bar, or you got the vigilant button there and here. Okay, the overhead power, we need to hit the rear one, which is this one here, or we can press R. And we need to let this come up, I think 3 point something kV.
Now, close the quick circuit breaker.
3.3. Right, the circuit breaker is this button here, we need to close that, or press M.
Wait for a quick circuit breaker to close, and also wait for the converter and compressor to start. The correct operation of these devices is necessary, for example, to supply the braking system of a train. Now, set the forward direction.
Right, we need to hit the forward direction or the up arrow.
Turn the headlights to the drive position.
Headlights. Now this is the only one I couldn't find, well not the only one, but this I couldn't find a hotkey for, because in the controls it says L for lights. I've pressed the L button and I can't see any lights coming on or off. So this one I needed to do manually.
Move the brake lever to the drive position.
This needs to go to the drive position, but it's actually release brake. I'm looking at this and I'm like, what is the drive position? It's release brake, or 6 on your numpad.
Hold down the main brake line button.
Right, so you need to hold this down until the light goes out and you'll see this brake hose yellow bar going down, or you can press delete on the numpad.
Now we need to release the parking brake.
Right, the parking brake is actually the spring brake, so it's on at the moment, we need to release it.
Use the call button on your radio telephone to confirm the readiness to the train dispatcher.
Right, this is the call button, and it's going to tell us that we need to wait for a light on the, or white light on the semaphore. Again, I'm not a train boffin. I didn't even know this was called semaphores, but yeah, they're called semaphores. For those of you that don't know, I'm sure everyone that's watching this video does know, and they're like, you noob. But yeah, I didn't actually realise they were called semaphores. So there you go.
Ząbkowice, 4665 ready to approach the platforms.
Wait for a white light to appear on the semaphore that will allow you to drive towards the platform.
4665, clear to approach the platform.
Right, there's the white light.
Push the throttle forward to accelerate. You can use the plus key on a numpad. Control the throttle not to exceed 25 km per hour speed limit.
Right, so we need to push this forward, and what you need to do is you need to hold it forward in the increased power position, and you'll see a green bar going up here. If you bring it back down to this position here, it will stay in the position that it's in, and if you bring it back down to this position here, it will then release any power that you have, and then if you then want to start braking,
The
you need to go
lever
into
is
this
in the
position
braking
here.
position. Push it forward.
Yep, thank you. And then you got full braking, so you can
Push
see
the
that.
throttle
See how
forward
that's
to
gone there.
accelerate. You can use the plus key on a numpad. Control the throttle not to exceed 25 km per hour speed limit.
So the position that's in now, it will maintain the brake force, and if we want to get rid of that, so it's on no brake force on, we need to push it into decreased brake force. So these two here, these two positions here kind of work opposite each other. That one there maintains power, releases brake. That one maintains brake, releases power. And then this one, as you can see, the green bar will go up and we will start moving forward slowly. Now here's something that I wanted to quickly show you. Let me just take that off for a second. Something I wanted to show you is, this is something I didn't know. I didn't even know it was a function because it doesn't explain it anywhere. It does have cruise control. So what you can actually do is you can hit cruise control, and then up here it'll tell you the speed that the cruise control's on. It will automatically put it on the speed that you're doing, and then what we can do is we can increase this up to 25, and the train, if we give it some power, will accelerate to 25, and then once it gets there it will reduce the power and it will just cruise along at 25 miles an hour, or 25 kilometers an hour, sorry. And then we can activate the brakes. Don't forget to, when you see the flashing lights, to hit your spacebar. We can activate our speed using this panel here, and the only time we need to use this is when we want to leave the station, which I'll show you when that happens. So I'm just hovering over the 0, ready to bring the train to a
Move the
stop.
lever backwards or use the minus key on the numpad to brake.
So we'll hit 0. It will now put on the brakes. If we need to do an emergency stop, then we'll need to use the handle, but if we just want to stop at a nice speed, we just press 0.
Allow the passengers to open the doors by rotating the switch to the correct side.
Right, so there's a switch here, there's the close and open door button, or we can press P for the right side, and
Wait until the departure time. Close the doors after the train manager is ready, and ride the train according to the timetable.
You
So
can see
P.
the approximate semaphore indications and upcoming speed limits on the top right corner of a screen. Your speedometer will show you the set power, current speed limit and current brake power. Your train stops at every station and train stop. Pay close attention to indicators and semaphores. Also pay attention to dispatcher commands.
4665, ready for departure.
Excuse me.
Push the
Also,
throttle forward to accelerate.
as I was trying to say without him interrupting me, P is for your right hand side doors, I is for your left hand side doors, and O is to close. Right, what we need to do now is put the speed up to 25, because at the moment it's set to 0. So I'll put that back up to 25, push forward, hold till this train starts moving. We left a little bit late there because I was talking, but that's fine. We'll mix that time up. And there we go. So it's just going to run at 25, and then if we get a speed increase, like we got this one coming up, 40 kilometers an hour, we can actually hit the 40 kilometers an hour button, which is just there. Hit the space bar. Right, there we go, there's 40. We'll just press that button and it will accelerate, so I don't need to faff around doing this and pressing the minus and plus buttons. I just find this so much easier. Maybe you don't want to use this, it's entirely up to you, but I just wanted to show you because there's nowhere that I found a tutorial that explains the cruise control, so I thought I'd get that in there. Right, so basically I've got my fingers all hovering over the spacebar because there's an activation thing there. When it pops up,
After leaving the station, you can accelerate to the scheduled speed.
thank you. When it pops up, and you can see them on the ground, you'll see them next to the track out. If I see one, I'll point it out. But if not, you'll see this flashing. If you miss the flashing, you hear a tone. If you don't hear the tone, or if you hear the tone but you don't activate it quick enough, then you will, the train will come to halt. Right, we can do 120 now, but we're only 1.7 kilometers away, so I'm just going to accelerate up to 80. I'm going to keep an eye out for one of those activation things. I think this is one here. Yep, there we go. So I'm going to hit the space bar. And I've also got my finger over the H button for horn. So I can hit it at the right moment, just like that. If I see another sign, I'll point it out, but you see a little sign with like a truck or an animal. Right, we're 1 kilometre away, so I'm going to bring it down to, when I get to about 800, I'm going to bring it down to 40 kilometres an hour. I don't want to be coming steaming in to the station and
You are approaching the
overspeeding.
stop. Remember that the train needs a long distance to stop. After stopping, give permission to open the doors.
So you pretty much said what I've just said. it takes a while to stop, and if you coming into the station at 120 kilometers an hour, you're not going to stop in time. So give yourself plenty of time. It's better to be going a little bit slower than you need to than going too fast, overspeeding and losing points for that. I've got an activation thing there, I believe. Yep, there we go. And I'm going to hit the 0. Come to a halt. You should see you can stop now. There you go. And obviously that doing the hitting the 0 does 50% on your brakes. You can, if you need to, go full braking if you think you're not going to stop in time. Right, so P. Open it up on the right hand side. We've got 17, 16, 15 seconds until we're going to depart. And we've got 100 speed limit in 3.73 kilometers. So what I'm going to be doing now is closing the doors.
4665, ready for departure.
Hitting the 120. And then
Push the
hitting power.
throttle forward to accelerate.
So we're still behind schedule. That's totally fine. It's only a tutorial, I'm not too fussed about that. And again, the accelerating will only be on 50%. If you want 100% acceleration power, you need to turn off the cruise control, and then you can go up to 100%. Right, keep my eyes out for some signs, which I just missed because I was not looking. Right, so we need to hit
You
the
are
0.
approaching the next stop.
And I'm going to hit full braking because I'm not going to be stopping in time otherwise. Yeah, you can stop now. So just remember, this controller here is here to help. Right, so we need to open it on the left hand side this time, so I. And then I'm just going to move this up to here. Get this power back down. And then we're going to close the doors.
4665, ready for departure.
Hit the 120, hit the power.
Push the throttle forward to accelerate.
2 minutes behind. And that's pretty much it. We just need to keep an eye on the distance where we're going to. Speed limits, we've got a speed limit of 100 coming up in 2 kilometers, so this is going to be before we get to our next stop. So when I'm about, I don't know, 600-700 meters, there's a sign there for the horn. Got that one at the right time. Yeah, when I'm about 500-600 meters out, I'll slow down because I only need to reduce it down to 100, so it's not a massive decrease. But if it was bigger, then I'll just do it further back. So just bear that in mind. If there's more of a change that you need to do, then give yourself more time to do it. Got an orange light coming up, so I'm just going to reduce down to 100.
The visible semaphore indicates that the next semaphore is displaying the stop signal. Drive carefully.
So we've got a stop signal coming up, so I'm going to drop down to 40. In fact, we'll drop down to 0. Got another sign there. So you need to have eyes everywhere within this. Right, we're not going to be stopping in time, I don't think, so let's go full braking. Just make sure that we do get down there. Then we'll just come off that. cruising a little bit. Let's get a little bit closer.
Use the call button on the radio to call the dispatcher.
Right, let's call a dispatcher. Enable radio. Oh, no. Zoo 3.
Dąbrowa Górnicza, 4665, requesting permission to enter the station.
4665, approach to Dąbrowa Górnicza on permit signal on track number 1.
The substitute signal allows for entry in emergency situation at a speed of up to 40 km an hour.
Okay, so we've got a white signal. So let's just increase our speed to 40. Got another sign coming up here for our horn. So although it's red, we've got a flashing white to say that we can come through. And we're stopping in 900 meters. And then we've got a red light just after that. So because I'm only doing 40, I'm quite happy with that speed all the way up until we see the platform, and then we'll hit 0. Or we can just decrease using the drive handle. But again, I just prefer using this. It's a lot easier. I probably will invest in a train controller at some point. But for now, it's mouse and fingers. Now if you stop before you get the stop here sign that comes up, it won't register you as stopping, so you do need to wait or move forward a little bit until you see that flashing. I'll show you what I'm talking about now. This here, you can stop now. If you don't get that, if you stop too early, then just move forward until that pops up. Otherwise, you drive off after you think you've stopped, then you'll get penalised. Well, we're still on a 2-minute delay, so we're going to get penalised for that, but hey ho. We are slowly making up time, but not enough. 40.
4665, ready for departure.
Right, we already lost 5 points that time. Right, so hopefully you got the hang of this cruise control and the signs that you may need to hit your horn for. I think I've only missed the one. Alright, so we got 180 before our next stop, 110 speed limit.
This is the end of the tutorial.
Oh.
Continue driving the train to Benji. Good luck!
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, so we've got 110 speed limit coming up, but we're not going to get up to that because there's no point. There's a little thing there for the activation. There you go. That's all I'm looking for. Gotta have eyes everywhere with being a train driver. We've got the activation for the vigilance, the signs for your horn, looking out for speed restrictions, and just basically just looking to see what your train is doing. But yeah, really enjoyable, and you know, other than the little bits of frame drops that I'm getting here and there, I mean, I've got the settings on as high as it can go, so that could be an impact, but I'm still getting 60 FPS, so it's not too shabby. Right, let's go up to 80. We'll go up to 80 until we're about 900 out, and then we'll drop back down to 40. Otherwise it'll take us forever to get there. There's a sign. Right, let's drop back down to 40. Hit the vigilance. So yeah, I definitely find this a lot easier than having to. I mean, if I had an actual physical contraption in front of me, controller that I could actually use, then I would find that a whole lot easier. But some of the stuff is a little bit fiddly to do. So probably the only thing I will say with the game is a little bit. Sometimes trying to do stuff with the mouse is a little bit fiddly, but you know, that could just be me. Right, I probably slowed down a little bit too early there, but that's fine. Better, like I said, better to be a little bit slow than going too fast. Right, hit 0. Got another activation there for the vigilance. So I'm going to hit this button. Hit it again, because there was 2. I'm going to hit the I button to open the doors on the right hand side. Left hand side even. I do like how the mirror pops out and it folds in when you start driving away. That's kind of cool. Right, we've got 10 seconds and then we'll hit the O button and we shall leave. We're going to do 110. So let's hit 100, close the doors.
4665, ready for departure.
Increase the power. Still behind. Power will only go up to 50%, like I said before. And let's put this up to 110. Slowing down now. Again, a little bit too early there. Could have probably waited another 3 or 4 seconds maybe. But that is A-OK. And hit the 0. Once this sign pops up, if you're doing 40, then hitting 0 will be just right for you stopping. It won't be too early. Right, P to open the doors. I think we've got one more stop. Let's close the doors. 100.
4665, ready for departure.
Let's go. So initially it starts off on 30%, and then if you keep it held down it'll go up to 50. And this closes, or folds in.
Benjin 4665, requesting permission to enter the station.
Proceed to track number 2 at Ballistix station.
Coolio. Let's close down to 40. Let's go 50. actually. Oh, forgot my horn. Let's go down to 40. Looked away from my screen then and missed the sign for the horn. And let's hit 0. I believe this is the last stop. There we go. So yeah, a little bit of a delay on the stops, but there we go. That is that. 28 minutes total, gained 1980 experience, driven 12 kilometers, 12.8 kilometers. Then we can click on graph, and then we got a graph of what gone on. We can see our speed, when we've used our horn, if we've had any penalties. So we missed a horn there. So I've missed 2 horns. I've got the rest of the horns in the right place, and then I've stopped in the correct places, which is great, but I've departed a little bit late on some of them. But there we go. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the tutorial for the first train. Oh, as I say that, I've got the game frozen me for a second. And that's that. So once you've done that tutorial, it will then unlock the multiplayer, and that will be in a future episode. What I will be doing prior to that is doing a tutorial and long distance drive on the, I'll call it the bullet train. It's not the bullet train, but it's a bullet train of sorts. The ED250. Which is a really nice train, and it's a lot faster. And the main difference between this mission compared to the missions on this one is this one will stop more frequently. This one barely stops at all. It's just a long drive with 2 or 3 stops, I think, and it's kind of towards the end as well. But it's 3 hours. It's a long drive, but I just wanted to show you how it drives, how to get it all started up, etc., and the cruise control within this, so that you know how to drive this if you're in the multiplayer. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful, and if you have, like I said, please do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.